Kathy Glover in Emmerdale was also known as Kathy Bates, Kathy Merrick, Kathy Tate and eventually Kathy Glover. She arrived in Emmerdale back in 1985 with her mum, and brother Nick when she was still at school and quickly became one of the show's main characters. Who played Kathy Glover in Emmerdale? Kathy Glover in Emmerdale was played by Melandra Burrows. Melandra, whose name is a mixture of her parents' names, Malcolm and Sandra, had been in Brookside and other television shows before. But the part of Kathy, then Kathy Bates, was her first leading role. Melandra has appeared on stage in many different roles and is a regular in pantomime. She also took part in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here in 2006. Melandra had a brief singing career. Her 1990 single Just This Side of Love reached number 11 in the charts. Kathy's first marriage. Kathy Glover in Emmerdale was married 3 times. Her first husband was Jackie Merrick. She was devastated when Jackie was killed in a shooting accident. Kathy and Chris Tate in Emmerdale. By 1990, Kathy had caught the eye of Chris Tate. Their romance took a while to get off the ground but they eventually got married and settled down together. But their marriage ran into trouble and Kathy had an affair with an American called Josh Lewis. She planned to leave Chris and start a new life away from Beckendale, as Emmerdale was called back then. But as she got ready to leave, a plane crashed into the village. Chris was paralyzed in the tragedy and Kathy decided to stay. Kathy's marriage to Chris fell apart when he had an affair with Rachel Hughes, who he'd later marry and who is the mother to Chris's son, Joseph. Kathy Glover in Emmerdale and Dave Glover. She started a relationship with Dave Glover and they married. But Dave was in love with Kim Tate and just a month after the wedding he died rescuing Kim's son James, who he thought might be his son, from a fire. Later Kathy got involved with Biff Fowler, who'd been married to Dave's sister, Linda. But he jilted her at the altar. Moving on, with a serial killer. Kathy carried on being unlucky in love. After the death of Rachel Tate, Kathy got involved with her widower Graham Clark. But little did she know Graham had killed Rachel, and his first wife, too. The couple planned to leave the village but as they did, Kathy twigged that Graham had killed her pal. She escaped the dramatic confrontation that followed, but Graham died. Kathy's departure. In 2001 Kathy left Emmerdale and moved to Australia with her former sister-in-law and niece. Read more, Emmerdale, David and Victoria in huge danger. A year later, the villagers were told that Kathy had married and had a baby girl. Could her daughter ever come back to the village? Kathy returned in 2005 for Seth Armstrong's funeral. She's not been back since, but we're still hopeful.